Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Friday, January the 27th, 2023. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by the #1 rated female DFS player, not only in Arizona, but we're talking about the entire Southwest. It's, of course, Miss Deb Lutz.
Coach, I missed you. How's it going? 2 months since we've been together? That's crazy.
It doesn't seem possible. Yeah, Crash shot us an info in Discord, said we haven't done, Devin, you and I have not done a podcast together since November 25th.
Unbelievable.
Doesn't seem possible.
Yeah, exactly. What has everyone been missing?
I know. We usually, it's 5 games. You can figure us for an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's our usual.
So how are you, Deb? What's new in
all is good. All is good. We're both in the West now, so similar time zones.
Yes, we are. Yeah. And you went east to west when
you were the new and improved skinny Joe Sarvati.
I'm trying. I'm getting there.
That's
but
great.
When Deb first came aboard at Coach Talk as a member before she became part of our team, she was in Philly. So she did the similar thing as I've done, East Coast to West Coast. So we were just comparing notes before the podcast. It is an adjustment.
It is, but it's good. I like it.
It's fantastic. But we've got all kinds of great things happening here at Coach Talk. First of all, hats off to Crash, man. He's been carrying the weight of Coach Talk and really stepping up. He's done a fantastic job, puts out great lineups, great podcasts, some fantastic stuff. Deb and I are going to continue to get more and more involved. We've got some big announcements coming up down the road of some really, really good things for Coach Talk that we're super excited about. We also have a new offer. If you haven't joined and you're just jumping on the podcast for the first time, we just posted it this morning. We're going to do a new little offer, $3, 3 days. So if you want to give it a shot, check us out. The $3 for the 3 days, you'll see that on our website. It's dfscoachtalk.com. You just sign up right there, $3. You get all of our Discord information, which includes the up-to-date ownership numbers, which are extremely important for all 3 big sites, Draftkings, Fanduel, and Yahoo. You got all of our insight, all of the chatter with the best DFS community in the industry. Then you get Deb and Steven and Crash and myself with information, lineups, everything that we're putting forward each day. So we're 7 days a week, and we're ramping it up again. We've got all the football playoffs this weekend, which will be fun. And then we've got baseball right around the corner, which we absolutely murdered last year, didn't we, Deb? Yeah. Deb always teases me, post your Yahoo numbers. I had the best Yahoo MLB season. I crushed anything. It's crazy. But so we're going to have all that coming up, and we got all kinds of new stuff going on. Wanted to fill everybody in on that. We've got a busy weekend this weekend. If you haven't checked out the NFL podcast, Steven and Crash posted, check that out for NFL Championship weekend here. Great stuff. And by the way, Deb, I am predicting, and this, I went in our Discord, so I'm going to back it up on here too. I predict, and you can call me crazy, and I'll take a lot of heat if I'm wrong. I think the Philadelphia Eagles crush the San Francisco 49ers. I have them winning by 24.
What?
I swear.
That is crazy. Come on.
What?
Their defense is too good. San Fran's defense is too good. Wow.
That's my big prediction.
That's got to be some bet if you play that.
Well, I should find a book that I can, take that minus. I don't know what the plus would be on.
Woo.
I think they're going to kill them. I think the other game's going to be competitive, but I think they're going to kill them. So I'm going to either use this snippet and post it, or we're going to
burn it. Or you're going to burn it.
So awesome.
All right.
Well, listen, Deb, we've got 5 games. That's a nice little handful of games tonight. They stagger start, so we got action all night. There's a 7, 7:30, 2, 8 o'clock, and a 10 o'clock time frame. We have 4 teams. I'll mention them as we go through the games, but it's always really key, especially when we start getting to this part of the NBA season, to mention the back-to-backs, because you're going to have a lot of people resting or cutting minutes. And we know you miss a shift in DFS, that could be 10, 15 fantasy points for your guys. So we'll talk about that, but it's the first night of a back-to-back for Minnesota. It's the first night of a back-to-back for Orlando. It's the second night for Cleveland, so that's key because they've had some injuries. And then it's the first night for the Toronto Raptors. So we have 4 teams out of the 10 that are on a back-to-back scenario, so we'll talk that through. We also have several injuries. We'll talk about those as we go through each game. And, of course, we'll go through some other things, pace, rankings, defensive efficiency, and we'll look at the all-important ownership as well. So before we get rocking and rolling, let's jump into real quick here into the chat and say hello to some of our folks that haven't seen you and I together since November. Mr. Davion Cuff is the first one today. So tip of the hat to Mr. Cuff.
Well done.
We have one of our double Ds, Damian Darby, in there. And somebody's going to win a ticket today as well, Deb. I forgot to mention that. King of Smack. Wow, you are looking real cavish right now. Yes, I got the beard going. And I will say there's a possibility that I may have had to brush a little black on here.
Cheating it.
I didn't want to look like Grandpa Coach. So, you do what you got to do, but at least I'm telling you, I'm admitting it, right? All right, who else we got in here? We've got King of Smack, one of the GOATs. How are you? Pain Blank SM, we know him as Dead Presidents. He's definitely awesome. Of course, we have King of Smack. He is a legend for sure. And he not by 24. I know that's bold. I know. But you know what? If they win by 17 or 20, I still look like a smart guy, I think. It's courageous. I think the line's 2.5, Deb. So I know I'm getting out there. King of Smack has 16-13. All right. That's
more reasonable.
I know.
I'm going San Fran.
You think San Fran's going to win?
I'm going San Fran.
This is a massive side bet here. I'll let you decide what the side.
I go bald, though. I don't want to go bald.
Yeah, we don't do well. The no hat doesn't count with you. We'll come up with something else for a nice side bet. That's for sure.
All right.
Travis Wyndham, our hotel heir, he is on with us today. I love it. JT from Mr. Justin Timberlake, a break from the tour, is joining us, and Doug L. We are going to make him a Doug W today. So we got that covered. We're going to do a 2 brains are better than 1 FanDuel lineup today, Deb, so we can do the whole lineup. And then later in the podcast, like I say, we are going to give away a nice little $10 fun ticket that somebody can plug in on Draftkings, FanDuel, or Yahoo. All right.
You've forgotten, we're live before lock here, and that means you got to go fast. We only have 5 games, but
we only have 5 games, but we got to let
everybody. You can go. We got to
let everybody trickle in.
20 minutes.
Hey, I agree with King of Smack. If you lose the bet, you have to shave your eyebrows.
Oh yeah. Then I wear the hat real low.
We better ask Mr. Lutz about that one.
Yeah.
All right. No more playing around here. Deb's got me moving.
Gotta get
so
serious.
we're live before lock. And guess what, Deb? I don't have my final lineup selected. So
that's even worse.
No playing around. All right, we're diving in. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. We love it. And again, dfscoachtalk.com, 3 days, $3. You cannot beat it. First game on the slate, 7 o'clock. The Milwaukee Bucks are at the Indiana Pacers. Really an interesting game. That early game is, I think, the key factor is how many people. Let me see. I'm going to log in and get the latest so that we don't have any discrepancies here. Let's make sure we have the latest lineups. Okay. So that 7 o'clock game, you've got the 31 and 17 Bucks and the 24 and 26 Pacers. The Bucks are a 7-point favorite. The total's 238.5. So the interesting thing, Deb, these first two games, 238.5 and 239. And then we've got the stinker game, the third game, only at 219. And then we have 221.5 and a 235. So maybe these first two games are the key to the entire slate. That's what we're going to focus on initially here. So let's talk about injuries. Beauchamp is likely to play for the Bucks. No Green, Ibaka, or the big one, Bobby Portis. However, they do have the big three playing, Deb. Holiday, Middleton on limited minutes, and Giannis are all in this game. And then you've got a little bit of a different lineup for the Pacers, obviously, with Halliburton out and Tice out. So it looks like plugged in right now is McConnell, Nembhard, Hield, Nesmith, and Turner. So a couple of questions to throw at you right off the bat. I'll give you a little more stats to work with, and then you can tell me what you think here. Is this game going to stay close enough? You've got Milwaukee, the 16th pace, Indiana 4th. So it is a pace up for the Bucks. Milwaukee's 5th best defensive efficient team in the league, and Indiana only 25th. So I'm very interested to see what your thoughts are on this Bucks lineup, and if you're still going to go there with all three big boys in there.
Yeah, it's it's the first time those three are together, just like it's the first time the two of us are together in months. And I am both Middleton and Giannis are coming off of some injuries. So I think Middleton's limits are still going to be restricted, and in particular, if it's a blowout, I think he loses some minutes. I do like Giannis here, though. I just think the matchup is like too tempting. His price has come down a little bit since he wasn't playing that great prior to the injury. Not hitting any of his 65, 70 point games. So I am tempted to go to him. Tough to fit in, though. But on a 5-game slate, so many pure points and just so many, such a large number, there's not going to be a lot of guys who hit that. So I am looking at him, but I'm also looking at Brook Lopez. Way too cheap, I think, at 5,600. Again, given who they're playing against, and given the fact that Portis is out, he's going to get a couple extra minutes probably. So I really like him, possibly in a GPP. And then I'm looking at Connaughton, super cheap now. And I think a lot of people are saying, well, Middleton's, back, so that's going to limit his minutes. But again, with Portis being out, they got to, throw those minutes around somewhere. So I think that gives Connaughton a few extra minutes. So, the problem is I don't expect it to stay that close. And that's the only issue with Giannis, but I still think he can smash, even if he only plays 32 minutes. And I certainly like Connaughton if they go for if they put the second team in. On the Indiana side, about half an hour ago, a bunch of guys were game time decisions, and I thought there could be some value here. But the way it's playing out, they're all in. McConnell's been the hot hand. I think he's the highest owned player on the slate, and he's reasonably priced. But he's got that tough Drew Holiday defense, and so I'm actually going to fade him. I think a lot of people aren't, but I don't like him. The guy I like is Buddy Hield. He played real well against them last game. Milwaukee is susceptible to the three, and that's what Buddy Hield is best at. So he's a guy that I'm looking at 6,100. Well,
we're a lot in tune, Deb, right off the bat. I think that's awesome. I like some of the same theories and thoughts I have. I'm not going to pay up for any of the Bucks guys, though, for multiple reasons. I think certainly don't play Middleton. He's on a hard minutes, restriction. They're easing him in. Giannis, I'm just not ready to spend that and pull the trigger on a game where I just think it's going to be imbalanced. The 7, I think, is a pretty low number I'm thinking it could be a double-digit game for the Bucks. But let's see, and Drew, again, price-wise is tough. And, McConnell's a pain in the neck defensively, even though Holiday's such a quality player. He still gets the steals and bothers you, off the ball. So I'm feeling the same way. I think Connaughton is a sneaky play because he's not starting. A lot of people are going to say, okay, everybody's back, I'm not playing him. But with Middleton playing reduced minutes and with Portis being gone, Connaughton's been logging 30, 35 minutes a lot of these games. I don't know how many minutes exactly he's going to get, but his price is right. I think he makes sense. I agree with you on Brook Lopez. I think with Giannis back, he's going to get all of Miles Turner's attention in the paint. And, they don't really have another big to cause a lot of trouble there. I think Brook's going to get some open threes. He's going to get a decent amount of rebounds. And he doesn't have to share rebounds with Portis either. So Brook's probably my favorite play from the Bucks side, without question. I also like Buddy Hield. I'm with you. I think this is just a good scenario for him. You're not getting many minutes from Middleton, who's a premier defender, but he's not quite himself, and he's minimal minutes. So I think Hield's the play on the Pacer side. I'm tempted to go McConnell because he grabs all those, periphery stats with steals and everything. He may be a last guy in some spots, but probably just looking more towards a Lopez, a possible Connaughton, Hield, and then a possible McConnell. I do want 2 or 3 guys from this game. I do think you have to have exposure to these first 2 games. I think it's very important to do that. Plus, these 2 teams are the only game that they have an island game. They didn't play yesterday. They don't play tomorrow. So I think that is a good spot. And King of Smack mentioned Chris Duarte is logging good minutes as well when he's cheap. Yeah, not a bad option for a GPP.
He's just for GPP. Yeah, I mean, he's sort of feast or famine and has not played real well against Milwaukee. I don't think that's a team that suits him that well. So, but,
he hasn't played well this season.
Yeah, this season at all. And particularly with all those guys playing now, Nesmith and Nembhard, I just don't see him getting quite the minutes.
Yeah, the rookies pushed him right out of that big role that he had last year. All right, let's keep rolling. We go to game 2. It is the Memphis Grizzlies at 31-17 at the Minnesota Timberwolves 25-25. You've got Bane questionable. So if that gets updated, somebody posted in here because that's huge news for the Memphis side of the ball. It's a 7:30 tip, so I don't know if we're going to have that at lock or not, but we need that Desmond Bane news, as well as on the other side of the ball. The other questionable player in this game for the millionth time is Rudy Gobert. So we got to follow those 2 pieces, because if Rudy Gobert's not in, Naz Reid becomes one of the best plays on the slate, in my opinion. I'm a big Naz Reid guy when he starts and gets the big minutes. So we got to follow that. As far as out, Steven Adams, of course, Danny Green, and your buddy John Conchar. And then for Minnesota, out McLaughlin, Prince, and somebody by the name of Cat. So I'm real interested to see if you're going to grab onto this Brandon Clark ownership train. If I know you, I think he's going to be one of your key plays, but I'm just guessing that.
You read my mind. As long as he starts. We want to wait for the news. There is a chance that Tillman starts. I'll go with whichever guy starts. I think it's a smash spot for either of them.
Yeah.
Clark will, if he starts, he'll definitely get minutes. And, he's a really good points per minute guy. He's played well against, these 2 teams. I love this battle. They played each other in the playoffs. I think that both sides are going to step their game up a bit for this. So I do expect some of the big guys to show up, but Brandon Clark did play really well because I believe Steven Adams was out that whole series. So, so I do like him a lot. If Gobert plays, I mean, that probably lessens it a little bit, but given Clark's game, I think it's still a smash spot for him. The other guys that I like, I do like Morant. I think Morant at 10K, particularly against the Minnesota defense, is a really solid play. I think what you're going to have to consider is you've got Morant, you've got Curry, and you've got Shea Gilgeous, all around the same price point. So I think it's pretty key. Their ownership is coming in very different as well. So I think that's going to play a role for me. If I'm playing the GPPs, I may be looking more at like a Shea. He's got a really tough matchup in Cleveland, but he also, no Lou Dort, he could really smash. So, but for cash game, I like Morant a lot. And then you got to look at Dylan Brooks if Bane is out. If Bane's in, Brooks gets no usage. But if Bane doesn't play with Conchar out as well, I think Brooks, gets 34, 36 minutes and his usage will be up. And he's like 4,900, which is really low for him. And then over on the Minnesota side, I like Edwards a lot. He's creeping up there at 9,000. That's probably about the limit for him, but I think this is a really good game for him. And Kyle Anderson, he's playing against his former team. He's been, sneaky. He's been able to get 40 fantasy points the last few games.
Yeah.
And boy, that's high for a guy like Kyle Anderson. So he's playing really well, getting a lot of minutes on that team. He gets a lot of those, stocks and peripheral stats. So I like him as well.
Beautiful. This is my favorite game on the slate, Deb. I really love it. Let me attack a couple things here so I don't forget. Travis Wyndham, Nembhard is in, so he is available to play. So that, again, that lessens Duarte, and he is in there. Second thing, hello, Rose is in there, and David Dulac.
Hey, there he is.
It wasn't a podcast without David Dulac jumping in.
Exactly.
How are you, my friend? All right, a couple of other
Crash said he would have been done with the podcast 10 minutes ago if he were doing that.
There's no doubt about it. That's, we know that. He's Speedy Gonzalez. But you know what? It's always concrete, tough information. Not a lot of the jibber jabber that I throw out there, but you know what? Everybody's different, right?
Exactly.
Couple things. Again, remember, Minnesota, first night of a back-to-back. You've got the second fastest team in the league in Memphis and the sixth fastest in Minnesota. So you got to love that, especially if Rudy sits defensively. This is a great game. First in defense, though, for Memphis. That's a little scary. They're the best defensive efficient team in the league right now. Minnesota only 25th. So that leads me to this, Deb. Ja Morant is my pay-up favorite play of the day. He is my avatar in our Discord. I think he's in for a great game. Really fired up for him in this one. You mentioned Dylan Brooks. He is DEAD to me. He has been playing not like dog doo-doo, but like horse doo-doo. I don't know what's gone on with him. I know that he's letting some of the better players score, and he should. John Morant's better, and Triple J, and all those guys. But he used to have that Michael Jordan thing where he just was going to shoot no matter what. But at least he's backing it up. But it's also affected his game. He's one of those guys. I think he's one of those from a psychological standpoint. If he doesn't feel like he's really the man or one of the main guys out there, he just loses a lot of his game. So I would steer clear for him for quite some time personally. I'm with you. I agree. I really like Clark if he starts, or Tillman. Got to watch to see which one starts. I think that's going to be key. So I'll have exposure in the same sense as you will on that side of the ball. For Minnesota, again, if Naz Reid's starting at center, I'm going to have him in my lineup. He's going to be a lock and load for me.
Yeah.
If I can fit him, I think Ant might be a great play here if Bane sits. So the Bane and Gobert news is so massive to me because if they both sit, I'm going to have Edwards, Reed, and Ja, and either Clark or Tillman. So I'm going to have 4 of my players from this game. I could go down as low as 2 depending on that news. So stay tuned. If you're not a member of Coach Talk, this is the time to do it. $3, 3 days, dfscoachtalk.com. We put full lineups in for Fanduel in our Discord, full lineups for Yahoo, and we have a base 5-man build for Draftkings. We follow the rules. That's what we do here at Coach Talk. So if anything posts during this podcast about Bane or Gobert, we will read and react instantly to that. But this will be a key game for me, Deb. I like the pace. I like, it is the biggest, it happens to be the biggest Vegas number on the board too. So I love when that coincides with each other as well. So we will follow that news. I think it's going to be terrific.
Love it.
All right. You ready for game 3?
Yeah, let's do it.
Game 3. We go to the Orlando Magic and the Miami Heat, 2 really opposite ends of the world team-wise, both in the state of Florida. I was just in Miami yesterday, Deb, so near and dear to my heart. In fact, I took some pictures of the Miami Heat store. They had a big thing at Tyler Hero. I got to put that on in Discord for our man, boy from Cali. But the Magic come in 19-29 and Miami 27-22. We have Orlando on the first night of a back-to-back. They're 17th in pace, Miami 27th. As far as defensive efficiency, Orlando's 20th. Miami's 3rd, like they always are. That's why they're 5 games over 500. Miami is an 8.5-point favorite here and a dreadful 219.5. So I'm going to save a lot of wind here and let you do what you need to do with this game. Orlando's got 15 people in their rotation. Not really, but they have too many guys right now, all chucking and ducking, sharing the ball. Fultz, Harris, Wagner, Banchero, and Carter expected to start. But even though Isaac and Okeke are out, they still have Anthony and all those guys coming in, contributing, Bol, etc. And Miami's defense is good. So I'm just don't feel comfortable in a cash game rolling out any of those guys. On the other side, I love Tyler Hero. Boy from Cali should be in this podcast. I have the picture from him yesterday. I do love him today. He is my one play. I'm going to have very little exposure to this game, but that's really it for me on this one, Deb. What do you got?
I'm right there with you. Very little exposure on this game. I mean, you got, 20 fewer points. You got great Miami defense. It's going to be sluggish. Miami is stronger than it's been in a while, so they'll be splitting the minutes up. I have to say, I do like Tyler Hero, but I don't love him here. He's a pretty good price point, particularly on DK. Tough to get to him on Fanduel. Jimmy Butler's another one, 7,600 on DK. I mean, now,
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he could easily be the highest value on the slate. He could throw up 50 on Orlando easily. So, I'm tempted. I'm looking at him, particularly GPP on Draftkings. But that's really it. I'm kind of taking a look at Cole Anthony. He's fitting into my lineup right now, also in a GPP on DraftKings.
Okay.
But that's really, he's been getting the minutes. Backup option to Fultz. If Fultz gets into some foul trouble, he could be attractive. But that's really it. I'm with you.
I mean, $7,600 on DraftKings. I mean, you almost can't pass it up.
Right?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's tough. I'm gonna, as long as we're talking about that right now, let's really quickly look at the ownership. I know we got time constraints, and that's not something I'm particularly good at. But let me go over as far as right now the projected ownership, as we're only 33 minutes from lock, Deb. Holy
no, exactly. Hurry.
So here's the projected ownership as of right now, as far as the top 15 on DraftKings. You have Allen, Gobert, if he plays, because he's only 6,400, McConnell, LeVert, Garland, Mobley. So big Cleveland contingency. Hield, Nesmith, Russell, Connaughton, Jimmy Butler, as we said, Giannis, Triple J, Edwards, and then my buddy Precious Achua. On FanDuel, LeVert, 65%, Deb. He's let me down in the past. I'm not the biggest LeVert guy anymore. Then you've got Mobley. Yeah. Mobley, Garland, McConnell, Russell, Isaiah Joe. Hello, Isaiah Joe. How are you, my friend?
Hello.
Jared Allen, Gobert, Clark, Hield, Anderson. Your buddy Slow-Mo's right there. Nesmith, Brooks, who I just badmouthed, so he'll probably blow it up. Ant and Jetty Osman. That would be definitely one of Crash's plays today, Jetty Osman. But a lot of similarities there. A lot of these, people thinking Gobert's going to suit it up. So we got to follow that. And then we'll finish up with Yahoo. LeVert, Allen, Gobert, Mobley. So they're going double bigs. A lot of Cleveland on Yahoo. and then Garland. So 4 of the top 6 are Cavs against the Thunder.
Wow.
Van Vliet, Connaughton, my man John Morant, 21%, so coming in 9th on Yahoo. Ant, Nesmith, Heald, McConnell, Barnes, Brooks. So all of the Brooks bad mouth, and people are still going to that well. So that gives you a little feel for it right there. King of Smack likes Isaiah Joe. So just think, if that was my last name, you could call me JoJo.
Man, Isaiah Joe.
Terrible. All right, we're going on to the next game because I'm terrible at time. We got to post lineups in like 15 minutes. 4th game, Deb. Cleveland Cavaliers 30-20. Oklahoma City Thunder 23-25. I still say he's the coach of the year, Mr. Dagnall. We've got injuries. Donovan Mitchell, doubtful. He's not going to play. I'm counting them out right here. I said it. Mitchell, Love, Rubio, and Windler out. And then we've got Dort out. That dude hasn't missed a game forever. Dort, Poku, and JRE are out for Oklahoma City. We've got, Cleveland on the second night of a back-to-back. So something to be aware of there. It is the slowest team in the NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Oklahoma City 5th. So as always, it's a pace-up game for Cleveland, but even a little more than normal. Cleveland is the second most defensive efficient team in the league. Thunder's not bad. Top 10 all year. They're 10th right now. Certainly a dangerous team without question. What do you got in this one, Deb?
This is a tough one for me. I agree with you. I'm going with Donovan out, Love out. So I do like LeVert. I like the bigs in this game. Bigs do really well against OKC. I'm debating between Mobley and Allen, to be honest. On Draftkings, Allen is 6,000. To me, that's like a plug and play for a cash game. So I like him a lot. I do like Mobley, though, even at 6,800. So tough to, can you play them both? Yeah, maybe. But, given the nature of this game versus other games, I don't love that. But you could play them both. Chetty Osman, he's going to get, he's going to get minutes. Without Dort in there in the middle or at small forward, not a bad play. I have to say, I like Shea. I really like Shea. I just think low ownership, GPP. I just think that he's ready to smash. He's going to have high usage. I think his usage goes up to like 40% when Lou Dort is out. So that's tremendous. And the defense weakens a little bit without Mitchell in there. So we'll see. But I think I'm going with him in a GPP.
Yeah, I love the call. I think, for me, in my initial looks, it's got to be Jaw or SGA. I'm having trouble getting both in there, but I think that your take is fantastic. I think it makes perfect sense if you want to go that direction for sure. I agree with you, David Dulac. We'll move the podcast up earlier, especially when we do a 2-person booth with me and Deb or me and Crash, because I talk way too much for being under this kind of pressure. Aloysius 5 has joined the family here. Hello again. Great to see you. King of Smacks stacking OKC against the slowest and great defense of Cleveland. Interesting. Very unique play for one of our most respected gentlemen there. I'm going to play Jared Allen a lot. I'm going to have he and Brooke Lopez together as my 2 double bigs that you can play on DraftKings and on Yahoo. So I really like those guys. I am not going to sucker into the LeVert play. I know everybody else is. I'm not. I'd prefer to get to Garland personally and spend the bucks there. He's not as expensive as SGA. So maybe a Garland Allen duo. As far as the OKC side, it's hard because you've got a lot of rotation there, even with Dort out. Somebody's going to have to grab those minutes. It looks like it's going to be Aaron Wiggins that's going to grab some. I don't think he's the worst play for last man in, super cheap. And then, I'm not going with either Jalen Williams just because I don't want to make a mistake and play the wrong one.
Put the wrong one in.
If you have the guts, you can roll Kenrich Williams out there with that cool hairdo he's got. But I just,
right?
for me, it's probably going to be, I'm probably not going to go with any Thunder. I doubt it. Just because I respect the defense from Cleveland and I don't like the pace.
Yeah.
All right. You ready for game 5?
Yeah, let's do it.
Game 5. We're on crash pace now. It is 10 o'clock game, all by itself, 2 hours later than every other game. So you're going to either be sweating big time or you're going to be, hoping to hang on. You've got Toronto 22-27. Disappointing. I think they're going to blow it up, by the way, Deb. I think they're going to trade Van Vliet and a bunch of guys. I think they're going to do a reset personally.
Yeah.
Golden State is 500, 24-24. You've got Banton questionable for Golden State. Wiggins questionable for Golden. Did I say Golden State? I meant Toronto.
Golden State, yeah.
Yeah, Wiggins is questionable for Golden State. Only key guy. Iguodala hasn't been playing at all. But they do have Curry, Poole, Thompson, and Green all in there, which isn't the best, thing for us for DFS for sure. Toronto's 26th in pace as normal. Golden State is the fastest team in the league. So it does make you want to grab a Van Vliet or Siakam or Trent even or Barnes, have some exposure to Toronto without question, in my opinion. A lot to do with that pace. And defensively, these teams are both below the middle mark, 19th for Toronto, 16th for Golden State. So it makes for a game that you definitely can have some ownership. It is the first night of a back-to-back for Toronto. You got to keep that into consideration. What are you doing here, Deb?
Yeah. This one, high-scoring game, late game. I like, I'm waiting to hear on the Wiggins news, but I actually really like Curry as a GPP play. I think he's going to be the forgotten man. Again, that price point, everyone's on Morant. Even Shea's getting some love, but you've got a lot more ownership for Giannis, a lot more ownership for, Ant Edwards. And this is a high-scoring game. And if Wiggins doesn't play, it's more points to go around. I think I see Curry having a breakout game tonight. He hasn't had one in a while. And I'm not too excited about anyone else on Golden State, honestly, just given where everyone's priced at. Possibly DiVincenzo because I can fit him in, but I'm not so excited about him. And then over on the Toronto side, I'm sort of intrigued by Van Vliet, but I'm not really getting him to fit into my lineup. But I think he has a good night tonight. And the other guy that I like, I'm trying to work in is Anunoby at 5,900 on Draftkings. So real cheap. I think he's a guy that you can fit in nicely.
It makes sense. I like the two guys you mentioned are the two guys I'm interested in Toronto, Van Vliet and Anunoby. I think they both are being showcased to be traded. I think they're going to get big minutes. I like the pace of the Golden State side. So I'm going to have some Raptors exposure for sure. I'm not going to have the money to get up to Curry. I'll never say Curry's a bad play. I think he's a great play. I just, I'd love to suggest the best player from every team, but it's not realistic. If I'm going with John Garland or John Van Vliet or something of that nature, it's just you can't do it all. So Curry's probably going to be the expensive guy that I'm not going to use, and I'm scared about it. But you got to do what you got to do. I'm waiting on the Wiggins news as well. I agree with you. I think DiVincenzo might be a nice play if Wiggins is out. If Wiggins is out, it elevates Jordan Poole to me because he's more affordable than Curry, and there's definitely extra shots and usage to go around if Wiggins sits. That's if he plays. I may not have any Warriors, believe it or not. So I'll be clenching every time they have the ball, but I do want some exposure to this game. I think it's going to be a good DFS game for sure.
Cool.
All right. we've only got like 8 minutes to post lineups. So here's, I know I said we were going to do a two brains lineup, and I know most of the people that are in here are members. So we just don't have time to do it. It's that simple. So I apologize. I am going to give the ticket away, though. A $10 ticket. I'm going to spin the randomizer, and we're going to give a $10 ticket away. The winner is, oh, man, it's King of Smack. Can you believe that? King of Smack. So shoot me DFS Coach Talk. We're at DFS Coach Talk on Twitter. You can check us out there. King of Smack. Send me your PayPal email. We'll send you that $10 ticket for tonight's action. I hope you crush it, man. Take down something huge so we can post it. I would love it. Mr. JP Davis, McConnell, Hill, Duarte, Nesmith, and Turner. Starting. Yeah, interesting. So that does bring Duarte back into play. I still prefer Hill, though, myself. All right. We're going to let you go again. Next time, we're going to start it earlier, like Double D suggested, so that we have time to put our two brains lineup. I really do apologize for not being able to put it in here, but we've got to make sure we have a few minutes here to post for our members in Discord. So loved it, Deb. It's been way too long. And, Deb and I are, like every other Friday, are going to be doing this pod together. And again, we have some other big announcements coming here in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, we can also get a little bit more involved with that as well. So appreciate all of you, Deb. It's been fantastic. You are the very best. I rank you number 1 and Josh number 2. Just kidding.
No
you're
way.
You're 1 and 1A. You're 1 and 1A. I'm joking.
All right. Let's go post our lineups.
Let's go post our lineups. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. Nice slate tomorrow. Definitely join in. Catch our podcast tomorrow. And we'll certainly be back again next time when we look to crush it in NBA DFS.